Good afternoon, everyone. I'm hoping y'all can hear me. Great. So we'll make a quick start to this. So as you can see, my talk is titled Believe, Fight, and Enjoy. Just a little bit of background on those three words. Those three words are pretty much the last things I say to myself looking at the mirror before I go onto a squash court. This quote is probably by the greatest sports person ever in the history of mankind. Dreams are beautiful things. I think, at least for me, when I was a lot younger, I used to dream a lot more. I think as we grow older, we have so many other things going on in our minds when we fall asleep that it gives us lesser time or gives our minds lesser time to actually dream. When I was young, I used to dream about flying, building a time travel machine. I still wish I could do that. That would cut my, air travel, go back in time and do a lot of things. But somewhere along the way, we kind of forget those dreams. In some ways, sometimes intentionally, sometimes unintentionally, our parents, our elders, our friends through peer pressure make us start thinking very conservatively to make sure that we are secure in life and we do the things that society accepts in all the different ways possible. We forget that we need to risk something to be able to gain something, and that's where dreams become very, very important. If you really want to be, if you really want to do something great in life, you have to go against the norm. And when you go against the norm, you have to follow those dreams. So I'm sure all of us, when we are growing up, and even now I'm guessing, we all have our role models. We all love them. We all want to be like them at some level or the other. We want to do something brilliant so that people love us, endear us, and we are remembered not just for the rest of our lives, but we leave a legacy even after we are gone. I think what we fail to realize that the first thing on their journey was that they dared to dream in a very wholesome way and risk something huge to make that dream a reality. And they went against the tide. So everyone who's great is not normal. They're abnormal in their own small way. And if you're abnormal, you're not doing what the rest of the herd is doing. You need to do what you believe in wholeheartedly and follow that dream wholeheartedly through the whole journey. So my first so-called point for that template is that you need to be able to dream and follow those dreams. And don't let anyone tell you that that dream is not worthwhile. Every dream is worthwhile in its own way. It's about you finding that way to make that dream worthwhile. There's one more example in recent memory, which maybe a lot of y'all aren't familiar with, but which is so inspiring for me, is the 2010 Copiapo mining accident in Chile. There were 33 miners who were buried about 700 meters below the ground and about 5 kilometers from the mine's underground entrance, which was connected by underground spiraling service ramps. And the entire crew was a collection of experienced miners and technical service personnel who survived for 69 days underground without knowing if they're ever going to be rescued, without knowing if the ground above them is going to capsize on their heads. But they kept going, every single 33 of them. And it just shows you what the mind is capable of. It shows you that they believe so strongly that one day they will make it out, that they believed in each other. They showed, and I think it's a great testament to the fact that the mind is such a small part of our body, but it's probably the most important thing. The body will give up a million times before the mind ever does. As long as you have your mind in place, even if the body is struggling, you will find a way, as humans often do. And that's where, the quote where it says, necessity is the mother of invention, that's what it's born out of, is because the mind can conjure up such beautiful things just because it is so strong as as a part of our body, and we have to trust in that mind to show us the way when it's so difficult. Vince Lombardi, I'm not sure a lot of you all know about him. He's probably the greatest coach in NFL history, which is American football. The Super Bowl trophy is actually named after him. He once said that winning means you're willing to go longer, work harder, and give more than anyone else. Winning is a habit. It's addictive. People, it's like practice. You practice winning. So there, you have this internal confidence in you that when you get to the crunch points, if you've been winning for a long time, your body and mind is going to find a way automatically to convert that 50-50 situation into in your favor. You're going to find a way to win somehow, and that plays on your opponent's mind or the people around you as well, and that gives you that mental edge. Over time, it doesn't happen one day or 2 days. So when people talk about how, let's say, Manchester United today is not the same team as what it was under Sir Alex Ferguson, and they've lost that aura of invincibility, is because over the last 3 years, they haven't been able to repeat those performances week in, week out, and the other teams kind of believe that they can actually beat them. So that winning habit isn't there right now. They're trying to get it back under Jose Mourinho, but it's not crystallized in the players' minds, in the crowd's minds at Old Trafford, and the opponent team's minds. So when that happens, it becomes almost second nature for you to win. Like in your thought process, loss is not even a component. So when your mind isn't even thinking about a loss, it kind of directs every single part of your body and all the energies in your body to just win. And that's what is important when you're in tough situations in life, in sport, because you are going to come across times when things get really hard, and winning over a certain period of time is going to make that possible for you. Now, even when that is happening, you still need to have the courage to be able to look into the eyes of who you're playing against, which is in my field, or into or stare down the face of any problem that you have and say that no matter what you throw at me, I'm going to stand here longer than you. I'm going to still be here waiting to fight again. And if you can do that, then you're giving yourself again the best possible chance to come out on top. A lot of people over the years, when they speak to me, parents of kids, and even like contemporaries of mine, they often tell me that winners are born, that the great people are just born, the talent from their genes is what makes them great. I don't believe in that. Roger Federer is probably one of the most talented people in the world. And he's, of course, got a ridiculous amount of talent from his genes. He was born talented, but that's not the only thing that makes him great. That's one ingredient of what makes him great. A lot of people have also told me that you can only be great if you are coached or guided in the correct way by someone. Of course, guidance is important. That's why, you go to the best academies, you get the best teachers, you go to the best institutions to study. There is obviously a claim to that, which is why we invest so much of our time, money, and effort to put ourselves in the best places possible. But again, it's one ingredient. The most important ingredient is you. If you don't have the will and the power to kind of really fight and prepare yourself for the challenges that lie ahead, all these things will come to nothing. So if I had to put it, I think preparation and training is probably the cake and the proof in the pudding, whereas the final performance is the icing on the cake. I've been training really hard probably ever since I was 14 or 15, and training is really hard for all top level sports people. Doesn't matter which sport. And there are times during training when I'm so wishing that my tournaments come really soon, because when we're closer to tournaments, the training gets easier. It's almost a minor miracle. I mean, you'll need to believe me on this. It's a minor miracle that we athletes actually find a way to compete on the final day, considering what we put our bodies through leading up to an event. And I found myself that every time I prepare really well for something, I know deep inside and deep in my mind and in my soul that uh, I've probably trained harder than the other guy. And that gives me so much confidence going into a match or a tournament that it, again, when the situation is like a 50-50, that makes a small difference. There are times when, I've wanted to train, but you can't train as well as what you would like to. Could be a multitude of factors. Could be personal problems. Could be you've been injured, or anything else. Or like you've had bad jet lag coming back from a tournament. And when that happens, I know deep down that when it really comes down to 50-50 situations, I'm at a disadvantage compared to the guy who I'm playing. So preparation is unbelievably important. And again, going back to Roger Federer, who's one of my favorite sports people again, he won his 18th Grand Slam title at the Australian Open last month in Melbourne. No one expected him to win it. He was out for 6 months with back and knee problems. He's 35 years old. He hasn't won a slam in, I think, 4 or 5 years now. And he was playing Rafael Nadal, who had a 6-2 head-to-head in Grand Slam finals against him. He won though, and it's an unbelievable achievement. But he didn't win the Australian Open in those 2 weeks in Melbourne. He won that Australian Open in the 6 months leading up to that tournament. He won it with all the training and all the rehab work, very boring rehab work that I might add, leading up to that tournament, and that's why he won. He also won because he obviously had a plan in place to play someone like Nadal, who's been his nemesis for a very, very long time. And if someone so talented actually as Roger Federer can prepare so well for a tournament, then I think all of us really need to be able to prepare at least the same way to give ourselves at least the equal opportunity to be able to do something as great as what he's done. I dream to be world number one day, but unfortunately, I can't do that tomorrow. I really wish I could. I would be ecstatic. But there are a lot of small milestones that I need to achieve before I get to that position in the world. I need to win smaller tournaments. I need to beat players who are ranked in the top 10 consistently. I need to move through the gears and establish myself in the top 5 before I can have a realistic shot at making world number 1. The temptation to quit will be the greatest just before you're about to succeed. This happens a lot to me, and it happens a lot to a lot of people, especially in sport because it's a very binary thing because you either win or you lose. It's a very objective assessment of what you've done. And a multitude of negative emotions run through your mind. Some of them are, maybe I'm not good enough. Well, you've been good enough for so many years, so you're definitely good enough now. What's the point in working hard if I don't get rewarded? You have to realize that when you work hard, all that hard work gets stored in a bank somewhere deep inside you. When you lose or when things don't work out the way you planned it, that hard work has probably not reached its maturity date. It will someday, it will mature someday, and you will get the results that you so deserve. The whole world is conspiring against me. When I actually think about this, I almost start laughing because that just means I'm so self-obsessed with myself that the whole world is conspiring to upset just my apple cart. Then I realize I'm probably not that important in this world after all. I have no luck on my side. Unfortunately, you make your own luck. Luck is a very, very small ingredient. It's probably a maximum of 5% of what actually makes or breaks your deal or your match or anything of that sort. You have to realize that there are a million variables in this world which aren't in your control, and you're interacting with those variables on a daily basis. If you can control every single variable, then you would have the perfect result every single time. But life isn't that. You can only control the variables that are in your control. When you have the setback, it's probably that the variables that weren't in your control ended up winning today. If they won today, just say they're right. This happened, get up, fight again, and move on. The hallmark of the greatest teams, the greatest people, is that when they lose or when they have the biggest setback, they go at working again and come back stronger than ever before because they feel even more hungry than they have before. So the thing is that when you lose or when you have a big setback, you have to realize that all the work that you've put in for so many years is not gone to waste. You can't give up because quitting is for cowards. And great people never quit. So you have to keep pushing because one fine day it'll all come to fruition. It's not an overnight job, nothing is, but it will come to fruition one day. Finally, you have to enjoy what you do. A lot of us go through lives without even knowing what our calling is, what we are good at. Um, Luckily for me, I know what I do. I'm sure some of you here know what you do as well. So if you found the first piece of your jigsaw, count yourself really, really lucky. Not many people have. And once you found that, enjoy it every single day. All of us are artists in our own humble way, and all of us want to create that one masterpiece so that people will remember us even after we are gone. You can only do that when you enjoy yourself and love what you do every single day. That's what's going to push you through all the tough times, all the major setbacks that you have, and all the times when you feel, like I said in the previous slide, when you're not good enough, there are people conspiring against you and things like that. That's what you need. The love is what makes you persevere every single day. I'm going to end by talking about something which was not part of that first believe, fight, and enjoy bit, but which you can treat as an addendum to it, which I feel is really, really important. I'm just going to read this slide out for you. When you're in the final days of your life, what will you want? Will you hug that college degree in the walnut frame? Will you ask to be carried to the garage so you can sit in your car? Will you find comfort in rereading your financial statement? Of course not. What will matter then will be people. If relationships will matter most then, shouldn't they matter most now? The basic and most pure form of success is happiness. I've won a lot of big tournaments. Every time I win a big match or a big tournament, I realize that I'm super happy for a day or two. But after that, my mind shifts to what I really want to do next. What's my next target? And that happiness quickly dissipates away. But what I've realized is what keeps me happy eternally is the relationships that I share with the people who are closest to me. The love that I have for my grandparents, the respect I have for my parents, the intimacy I share with my wife, the closeness I have with my friends. That's what drives me. That's what keeps me happy all the time. If I didn't have that, then all the success or so-called success on the squash court wouldn't be worthwhile. It wouldn't mean as much as what it did today. These people are the ones who make it all worthwhile and who make life happy for me on a daily basis. So make sure you treasure those relationships. Don't take them for granted. A lot of us actually, when the time is too late, we feel that, oh, we should have done more for that person, or we should have spent more time doing a particular thing. Don't wait for that day, because time, like everyone knows, doesn't wait for anyone. Use the time that you have now to make sure that that when you're finished with your life, you have no regrets about the time you've spent. And finishing off the last bit where, like I said, all of you all are great. Find that greatness in you. Dream really high, be really ambitious, believe in that dream a great deal, fight every single day for it. You've given yourself that opportunity and you deserve to fight for it every day and enjoy that journey every single step of the way. And when you're finished with life, you will not regret a single thing. And you will win at the biggest thing in life that you've always wanted, is to be happy now and in the future. So everyone today, after you've done listening to all us great speakers, go ahead and do something so you can be great and make yourself, your parents, and all the people close to you super proud of yourselves. Thank you very much.